Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Okay, I am going to show you some very stuff that's very important. When you come into my blog here at quantlabs.net/blog, look for anything revolving around Java. Now I like Java, but when this came out from the FTC, the Federal Trading Commission, the alarm bells went off. There's two articles I just posted here. The first one is from the FTC, put up on BBC. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, and I think people need to really pay attention to this. It's like where alarm bells go off. One expert said, to take this opportunity to trash it, Java is one of the top 3 applications that criminals target. Comes pre-installed on a lot of machines, so a lot of people don't know they are using it. There are times in some businesses where they may be internal applications that require Java in the web browser, so you don't have much option, but our recommendation for others is to remove it and stop using it. Those are pretty glaring remarks regarding good old Java. From my experience with anything, including right now my primary broker, which is the biggest in Canada, RBC, which is a Canadian largest bank, I have time and time again asked them, do they somehow protect my broker account? The answer is no. If my account got hacked in, it's very hard for me to prove that I was hacked or wasn't hacked. But let alone, let's take it down to interactive brokers. And how do you prove to them that your account was hacked or not? Especially if you have it on a remote server. Regardless of your biometrics, they could still get in, believe me. They have more incentive knowing if there's a live trading account associated with that account at interactive brokers. Now, if you choose to use the Java API option, to me this is really dangerous. And if you're building out an account at already $10,000, let alone if you're going up to $20, $30, $50, $100,000, do you really want to be using Python as your API option? Probably not when you read this. And then we know about our lovely Windows, and then of course there's the .NET options. So you can see my world's been getting smaller and smaller and smaller if I choose to use interactive brokers. Well, here I am on a Mac. I'm not saying it's foolproof and 100% not hackable, but let's just put it this way, it'll reduce chances by about 80% because most hackers will hack the first option. 80% of what they go after, 80% of it's on Windows. So if you're already not using Windows, you're already eliminated 80% chance of being hacked. I mean, you could still get if they're really motivated. But anyways, regardless, so you don't want to be pretty well on Java and you don't want to be on Windows. So what are your options? Well, my dear fellow, we have some options. Let me see here. Blah, blah, blah. Now, if you go into Google, this is the first time I'll be demoing this, and because I'm on Mac, things work gloriously. If I tried this on Linux, I was banging my head against the wall for a couple of days, but I got this running first time out, and I gotta say I'm impressed once again. But let me just show you what I've got here. So if you go under interactive brokers, Java API option, but you want the POSIX, which is a Linux compliant. But in my case, because I'm on Mac, guess what? Now, there's a really cool play-by-play tutorial here from this person, Hollow Zach. I've gone through this tutorial right here at the bottom. Oh no, where am I? Which one do we want? This one right here. Installing interactive brokers, IB Gateway and TWS for Linux. Okay, let's get to it. So it's pretty simple. It walks you step by step on how to install Java the compile, all that fun stuff. I'm gonna let you go through it, but because we're given on my Mac, I think I have to go around step 10 out of 14. And let me just make sure. Okay. So it'll walk you through how to download the actual API POSIX sample code that you'll need to demo the connection with interactive brokers. So there's a couple of things that you'll see here, and some tricks. Is here I've done the exact same setup as instructed here, but I'm going to try to help you out, even taking this further. First, I got to say big thanks for this person setting this up. This is a godsend. And again, being on a Mac, I don't want to go harping on about it, but being on that's a godsend too. All right, so what you do is you'll have your gateway, let's say. Okay, so in this tutorial, it will show you how to set up God, I wish I could type properly. It'll show you how to set up a script to launch not the TWS, the Trader Workstation, but the gateway client software. And the same client software enables you to connect it to Fix. Now what I'm about to show you is a demo account. It does come with a caveat. So I will show you what I mean. Here you'll be making some changes for your environment, obviously. But this seems to run somewhat okay. So let me see if I can find our POSIX. Our POSIX. No. Give me a second here. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go farther back here. I want to show you the gateway software. Okay. We've got the software. I just can't remember how to run it. It's one of those wonky Java jar commands. So I think, yeah, okay. So, okay. Okay. Let me just run it the primitive way without that shell script I just showed you. All right, so we're on step 5 here. We'll be going to step 5. Right on, right on. Okay, so you're going to download. So this is the command I was looking for. So let me just run this. When I say it's wonky, I ain't kidding. All right, so where am I? Okay, so we're going to be running one of these jar files. Okay, so give me a second here. So we're going to run this JTS jar file, as you can see in that command right here. This JTS jar file, and it's got all this other fun stuff. So off it goes. It's going to run it now. So it's going to launch up the JVM. So we're connecting the IP API. So we do our usual edemo, demo user. Now again, I'm doing demo account. Now remember, I said there's a caveat here. So it loads her up. Configuration somewhat similar. This one is configured. Course, or a 25,000 foot view on how to do this. Where? Okay, so sorry about this. Okay, going back to where we were. Leave me alone. You can see if look at the top right. It's 2:44 a.m. All right, so okay, we're not quite there yet. We're almost there. All right. Where's my configuration? God damn. I can't remember the port that I have to. There's a port I have to modify it to. Not 4001, otherwise what I want to show you won't work. God damn. Okay. We'll find it somewhere in here. Next section comes how to run the IB software. We know how to run it. We want to configure it. So back to where we come. Okay. Give you some tips on automating the login software. Not quite. We want to configure this. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So we want to modify to this port 7496. So we're going to do that exactly. 7496. Is there anything else I need to be on the lookout for? You gotta make sure you add your trusted local host. So we got that. It's a little outdated, this tutorial. So as I said, you unclick your read-only. I'm going to click on these. Just in case. I'm going to apply. Okay. So I'm going to say show log, show API messages. Let's make sure that our okay, so all our configuration seems to have taken a hold. That's good. Apply. Okay. Okay. So we are getting some messages here. Awesome. So that's a gateway. So the next step is to get our program running, our client program in C++. Now, this is, let me just rewind and go to step 10 here. What you need to do is you'll be asked to download some software, and namely you'll have to go in here in the eSocket client socket, and then here's where you're going to have to make the changes. In the test POSIX, and compile it and build it. So let me show you the tips and tricks that were recommended. Remember, I'm on OS 10 here. So thankfully, I had no build errors or compile errors, but you will need to modify this this Windows, sorry, makefile Linux right here, this file right here, and modify it for your environment. So what we're talking about here is, in my case, I've got this file, which is the one that I made those changes to. So if I go into Sublime, the editor, Linux, just to show you the changes. Right here, I had to modify these 3 lines for my environment. So it basically came down to this, just changing the user path. Okay, and that should get you going. So you can modify, or sorry, make the file. That is quite easy. Just run this command. Make file Linux. Now, in my case, guess what? Okay, so you can see, obviously, it must work. So I'm able to create my object file and specifically the actual bin file to run it. Woohoo! All right, now here it will mention about compiler as well as errors that you may get, different types. Well, guess what? I didn't get any of those errors. Now, if I did this in Ubuntu and Linux, I got all kinds of crazy errors that didn't match up to any of these that are described here. So, again, the godsend called OS 10 Apple Mac, just magically I was able to run it. So we have to run this bin file to run it. So let me do that. All right, but there's a caveat. So we already got our gateway software running, the IB gateway. Okay. So what this program will do is I'm not going to, but what it does is it's going to test the program or the IB gateway with sending out an order to the order book and then cancels the order. So it's just going to do a buy order of 1,000 IBM stock. All right, so let's do that. Let's run. Now, like I said, we're going to run this little guy right here, this POSIX socket client test. So let's run that. What will happen? Well, it's running. So oddly, hold on. We may have something here. This may be hold on. This may be actually better. So right now it's trying to connect in buy order submitted, canceling order next attempt. So it's attempting to do something, obviously. And what will that be? Well, in here, connection terminated, order canceled. Reason being, where's my reason? Reason being, where there should be an order. Order canceled. Reason. I don't know if it's actually working. Let's see here. See, but you can see it is communicating. That's step one. Oh, here we go. It's canceling the orders. Order 7, 8. Let's just let it run. Sleeping 10 seconds. Submitted. Canceling order 9. I think this is working. Well, I'm impressed. Sleeping order, canceling order 10. So it's placing an order of buy at, but I'll tell you the caveat I saw was an error message. And it was to do with the fact that I was running in demo mode. It's obviously how I've set up the configuration. I think previous maybe these settings right here where I didn't have these clicked, but now they have them clicked, it seems to be running okay. And the other thing is if you don't unclick that, you will get an error because it's not allowing you to place orders. So I think we got a working demo here. Let me just check. Market, writer, terminated 3. Order canceled, reason, starting. I don't know what to say. I think it is working because I'm not getting any error messages. Let me see what we're trying to do here. Order canceled, reason. I guess, yeah, that's what we're expecting here. But of course, we're running, this is the demo. That'll be this person's actual license. But maybe I should be seeing these kind of messages right here, which I'm not. Interesting, though. Looks like the, oh, here we go. I don't know, this is confusing. Third party, blah, 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 blah. right now, I gotta get verification on this because the error that I saw said that I was not able to connect or process the order because of the trading account that I had. Meaning I'm assuming that I had a demo account. Now this seems to be totally different, but I'm not seeing the messages that I would like to see on IBM. All this smart. I don't see that. It is canceling the order, but I don't see any error messages. Very strange. Terminating or socket error has closed. Let me just check this out. Yeah, I don't think it's accepting the order, but I don't know. I'll have to dig into that. But at least it's communicating. It's connecting. This is again using C++. So let me just break this. Okay, so knowing that, let me just check out the code here. POSIX Sublime POSIX test client. Let's see what we got here. Okay, right here it's a placing order. And that's it. Got cancel order. Let's see if we have placing order. I'm sure there's a log somewhere in here. But I don't know. I just wanted to show you the POSIX C++ compiler, or sorry, the C++ option in Linux. This is probably, from my perspective, the most secure way of doing it. But what I do worry about still is this notion of connecting through Java, because this app, what you're looking at right now, is a Java app. So my program is going to connect through the C++ and this through this Java app. So I'm not sure how to circumvent that. But just wanted to let you know that. Wanted to let you know about the Java insecurity, courtesy of the FTC. Put up here at Bloomberg. So we're a lot farther ahead using this option with the C++ on POSIX, Linux compliant, on a Mac OS 10 environment. Again, I've tried to get this working on Ubuntu Linux. It failed, but I've not gotten as far as I have with this on Mac. And this is a big deal. But for testing, I'd still probably recommend using the demo account in Interactive Brokers with TWS on the Java. And don't blow your brains out to get it with this. When you move into production, this is your next bet to at least eliminate any security problems. Now, if you can, try to be on a Mac or a Linux. And of course, get questions answered on the Interactive Brokers customer service or their Yahoo group. But I'd be interested to see what people think of this. And I think this is as secure as you're going to get it in terms of using Interactive Brokers on a Linux-like environment, like a Mac, and again, not using Java with what I just shown. This is as close as you can get for the most secure. Okay, hopefully this will help you out. And who knows? We'll see where this goes. Other than that, over and out. Talk to you later.